It's not even midnight and some Maryland stores are already open for Black Friday.
Another day of extremely hot temperatures has forced many schools to close their doors early. The FBI announced that they were aware of the suspect's racist activities, but they did not open an investigation on him until now. Good evening, everyone. There are 3,750 cherry blossom trees in full bloom. House Speaker Dennis Hastert disregarded calls for his resignation. Fellow Egyptians, they left their homes, they left their jobs. They say today their dreams became a reality. 2 others had to be transported immediately to the veterinary clinic. No word on their condition. The infield here at Old Hilltop expected to be packed with some 40,000 fans.
In Le Tapis Rouge. What do you think, guys?
We were just going to ask you to say that again, Jessica. I'm so glad you did.
Le Tapis Rouge. This is my high school French coming back out, guys. High school French.
Where's your blue hat? Keep that blue hat on.
Thank you. I'm gonna wear it tonight for the show, and then back up, but maybe I'll wear it and doing the noon show tomorrow. Do you think they'd go for that?
At some stores, people have been waiting in line for hours. WJZ is live in Towson. Megan McCorkle has the Friday frenzy that's already begun. Happy Thanksgiving, Megan.
Same to you, Jess. Yeah, and people, Eyewitness News.
All right, it's good we're working. Keeps us out of trouble, Megan. Thank you. The National Retail Federation predicts 152 million people will hit the stores for Black Friday. That's up 10% from last year. Meanwhile, tragedy strikes a Maryland Home Depot store this Thanksgiving. A car plows into a group of men standing in the parking lot at the Hyattsville store. Tonight, one of them is dead. 5 other men were rushed to the hospital. Police believe the driver may have passed out behind the wheel before it happened. An investigation is now underway. Baltimore City Police need your help to find this child tonight. She is 4-year-old Rykia Brown and has been missing from her home on Tivoli Avenue since Tuesday. She may be with a black woman known as Ty in her late teens or early 20s with 2 lip rings. Police say Ty failed to return the little girl to her parents. If you have any information, please call 911. There are no survivors in the fiery Arizona plane crash we brought you as breaking news last night at 11. The twin-engine plane crashed into a rugged mountain range, then exploded. Tara Mergener reports for WJZ. 3 young children are among the dead.
Eyewitness News.
The county sheriff says there's no evidence the plane was in distress or that the pilot had radioed controllers about a problem. Egyptian prosecutors dropped charges against 3 American students arrested in Cairo's deadly clashes. Nearly 40 people have died in the violent fights between police and protesters, calling for leaders to step down. Caught up in the chaos, a Georgetown University student thrown in jail with 2 other Americans. Tonight, the students' lawyers say they've been unexpectedly set free. Welcome news to their families this Thanksgiving night. An elderly man still in shock in Montgomery County tonight after he's kidnapped from a grocery store parking lot. Police say someone forced the 75-year-old into his car at the Giant store in Wheaton, then took him to several ATMs to get cash. The robber fled with the money and is still on the loose. Police believe he's armed with a box cutter. Hundreds of drivers are stranded on the busiest travel day of the year, all because of a spill on the Pennsylvania Turnpike. And a Maryland company is to blame for the tanker that leaked that sticky tar. Mike Helgren reports some cars are damaged beyond repair. And if your car was damaged, you should call Travelers Insurance at 800-238-6225. You can find more information at WJZ.com. Just click on local news. Just 10 months after Congresswoman Gabby Giffords was shot in the head, she serves a holiday meal to U.S. service members. Giffords and her husband, astronaut Mark Kelly, spent Thanksgiving in Davis-Monthan Air Force Base in Tucson. She's been in intense rehabilitation, recovering from the assassination attempt that killed 6 people back in January. And here in Baltimore, a Thanksgiving tradition reaches a milestone. It's the 30th anniversary for the Be Gaddy dinner that feeds thousands of people every year. Monique Riego has more from Southeast Baltimore.
The weather.
Organizers say last year as many as 50,000 people came to the Be Gaddy Thanksgiving feast. And coming up, a total invasion of privacy for the woman who created Harry Potter.
After the birth of each of my subsequent children, for a week, it was impossible for me to leave the house.
Hear emotional new testimony in the news of the world phone hacking scandal. Plus, you have to see it to believe it. A staple inside a man's skull, how it got there and how doctors dealt with it. And turkey on the run, what this bird was doing off the dinner table today. It is 43 degrees and clear in central Maryland right now. The complete first warning weather forecast is coming up. An Ohio woman says she was the victim of police brutality following a traffic accident. This is dash cam video of Chelsea Garrett getting out of her car after being stopped by police. The video shows the officer pushing the 90-pound woman to the ground, then using a taser on her. Garrett was charged with hit and run. She's now considering a lawsuit. Dr. Conrad Murray's sentencing is set for Tuesday, and prosecutors are asking for $100 million in restitution. Murray was convicted earlier this month of causing Michael Jackson's death with a lethal dose of anesthetics. The $100 million figure is the projected earnings for Jackson's 2009 concert series. Prosecutors are also asking for the maximum sentence of 4 years. The phone hacking scandal that brought down Rupert Murdoch's empire has now spawned a media ethics inquiry in London. The High Court is hearing testimony on how journalists relentlessly pursued the parents of a missing little girl. They're also hearing from celebrities, including Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling. She testified that photographers sat outside of her home for days waiting to take a picture of her family.
It's difficult to explain.
The High Court also heard actress Sienna Miller testify that her phone was likely hacked by a journalist. The judge's report could lead to major changes on how the British media operates. A Texas construction worker is able to enjoy Thanksgiving after surviving a bizarre accident on the job. Sean Hunter was shot in the head with a staple gun. Doctors say the 3-inch metal staple penetrated his skull. They were able to remove it without causing any neurological damage. Sean says he's a little sore, but he's ready to return to work next month. Tracking earthquakes from right here in Maryland. That's what a National Science Foundation project is attempting to do. And as Pat Warren reports, scientists are eager to see more of what we felt here in August. It will take 1.5 years for the array to reach Maryland. And a turkey in Iowa gets a little revenge for his buddies. This gallivanting gobbler took to the streets to flaunt his freedom. He ended up slowing down hundreds of cars and trucks at some of Cedar Rapids' busiest intersections. Police say they had reports of this traffic-stopping turkey for almost a week. As far as we know, none of the drivers ended up inviting him home for Thanksgiving. It's a Turkey Day tradition as Loyola and Calvert Hall meet for the 92nd time. Mark has the highlights and reaction coming up next in sports. Mark is here with our WJZ 13 The Fan Sports Report. A family affair on the field today.
What a night of firsts. I was down at the stadium for the first half of the game. What an atmosphere and what a night. Food, family, and football. That's the Thanksgiving series. We'll have more on the Ravens coming up tomorrow.
All right, Mark, thank you, and we'll be right back. Soccer superstar David Beckham takes on a unique challenge during a special practice session. He put on a blindfold to work out with a visually impaired team from England. Beckham struggled at first, but then he eventually got the hang of it and even scored a goal. Beckham is a 2012 Paralympics game ambassador. And we'll be right back. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Good night.
Hello again, I'm Jessica Cartalia, and here's what people are talking about today. If you didn't like yesterday's record-breaking heat, then you won't like today much better. Another day of extremely hot temperatures has forced many schools to close their doors early. And if you do have to go outdoors, everyone is being warned to stay cool as much as possible. Taking a live look outside right now where a heat advisory is once again in effect. WJZ is live with first warning weather coverage. Marty Bass is in the very warm outback. But first, meteorologist Tim Williams has more on how hot it is out there. Good afternoon, Tim.
Now what? Throw it back inside.
All right, Marty, come back inside where it's nice and cool. WJZ first warning weather coverage of this extreme heat continues now in Druid Hill Park. Derek Valcourt has more on precautions everyone needs to take in these very dangerous conditions. Good afternoon, Derek.
A Baltimore City police officer is fighting to stay out of prison today. He's accused of murder and his trial is coming to a close. WJZ is live at Courthouse East, where Mike Helgren is following the very latest developments. Good afternoon, Mike.
Back to you, Jessica, on TV Hill.
All right, Mike, thank you. Deshaunbe served on the city's police force for 15 years. Right now, Department of Natural Resources police are back on the Chester River looking for a missing fisherman. Sky Eye Chopper 13 was over the scene yesterday after the man jumped into the water trying to save his 7-year-old nephew. The two were fishing when the boy jumped in to cool off and was swept away. The boy was found about a quarter mile away. His uncle is still missing. A warning from the state health department this noon. Maryland has its first case of measles since 2009. You mentioned the breeze, though. It's amazing what a difference you feel when that really breeze picks up a little bit.
When it's just stale and thick, and you just sit in it.
Steam bath.
Enjoy yourself out there today.
Thank you. Thank you, right? I can't wait to get out there and report today.
Jessica Cartelli was on the scene minutes after police arrived and has the latest on the search for the shooter. Jessica.
That's right, Mary. Of those 6 people shot, 1 person is confirmed dead. The 5 others were taken to shock trauma, where 2 are now listed in critical condition. Half a dozen victims shot at close range are loaded into ambulances and rushed to the hospital.
The gunman approached a group of individuals that were sitting on a porch having a conversation. The gunman opened fire.
City police called to Denison and Franklin Streets in Edmondson on the city's west side around 1:30 this afternoon.
Black male laying in the alley, kind of slumped over and some blood around him, and then seen 2 other males out front of the house. One was sitting on the steps and one was out towards the curb.
Witnesses tell WJZ they heard at least 7 shots fired.
It just makes you mad just to see stuff like this, you know? It's happening every day.
Lee Sue was working just feet from the scene at this convenience store when she heard gunshots.
I just heard gunshots, like 3 times gunshots, and after gunshots, like kids are screaming.
Tonight, the search for that suspect does continue. Police believe that he does, in fact, know the victims in this case.